session, and just grateful that people keep showing up and doing this little exploration of this mind right here, right now, right? You know, your particular mind and body at this moment. And we do this practice to learn to recognize more and more what's actually going on in our lives and how we're relating to it. So just, I know it's helped me, and hopefully you're finding some benefit from these. So as we often do, we'll start by just having a little grounding or centering meditation to fully arrive, let go of the clicking and the all the internet manipulation that needs to happen for us to arrive, and just come into the practice. So we will let the bell transition us, as we always do. And so the bell is our invitation to come into this moment, to let go of the process of arriving and all the things that happened before, everything on our to-do list, on the to-be list, want to, coulda, shoulda, woulda, letting all that go and just coming into this mind, this body right here, right now. Feeling the support of whatever your body is resting on, a chair, a couch, a bed, the floor. So feeling the strength of that support, so we don't have to do a lot of work to hold this body up. But we do invite the spine to be long, to allow us to be alert. And we also invite relaxation. So these are the 3 check-in points with the body: the grounding, the uprightness, the relaxation. Closing the eyes if we're comfortable, or just having a soft gaze. So that's the body. And how's the mind? Just checking in on the mind. Is it grounded and upright and relaxed, or is there something going on with the mind? Is it still working on a to-do list or a to-be list, or is it kind of checking out? Is it jumping all over, or is it just calmly waiting to see what's going to happen next? Whatever it's doing, we can just feel how that feels. Can we relax into whatever the mind is doing, or is there some tension there? If there is tension, we don't push it away. We just notice it's like this in this moment. So how is it right now in this mind, in this body? Is there ease or tension? And again, not judging, just noticing. And as we often do, we can just check in at various points in the body, just to notice with a little more detail how it really is in this overall sense. So maybe we can check in with the starting at the head, just any sense of, is there a sensation in the head that the mind could be aware of? Is there a tension in the eyes or the jaw? Or maybe there's a pulsing or pressure on the back of the head. Just noticing if there's any sensation, or maybe there's just relaxation. You can notice that too in the head. And then moving down from the head down into the neck and shoulders, noticing any sensation there. Is there ease or is there tension? And just bringing the awareness there. Does it change anything? Do we see a change from tension to ease, or ease to tension? And the neck and the shoulders, they're like this. And down the arms, down into the wrists and hands, fingers. Noticing any sensation there, tension, relaxation, heat, cold, the hands, the fingers. Different right and left, is there different sensation? And again, we don't judge any of this, we just notice what we're aware of when we bring the attention to the hands and the fingers. And then moving back up the arms, back up into the shoulders. Maybe they're the same or maybe they're different from before. On from the shoulders into the upper back, noticing relaxation or tension there. And then from the upper back into the middle back, down into the lower back. What do we notice there? From the lower back down into the hips, the pelvis. Is there tension or relaxation? And by resting the attention there, does anything maybe shift? Maybe, maybe not. Just noticing the hips, the pelvis like this. Down into the thighs. And down into the knees. Any sensation there? The calves, ankles, feet and toes. Noticing sensation there. Is it pressure, tingling, no feeling in the feet and toes? Heat, cold. What do we notice when we bring the attention there? And then from the feet and toes, moving up back into the ankles, the shins, the knees again, the thighs, hips, down into the belly, noticing the sensation there, whatever it is. Is it pressure? No sensation? You feel the rise and fall of the belly, or what do we notice there? Again, not judging, just noticing the belly area, lower abdomen is like this. In the middle of the chest, upper chest, checking in for sensation there. Whatever we notice. Upper chest, up into the neck, back up into the head, the jaw, cheeks, eyes, noticing if there's relaxation or tension. And then resting the awareness on the nose, maybe feeling the breath in the nose or the mouth. And then just resting in that sensation of the breath, whether it's up at the nose or mouth or throat or chest or belly, or maybe it's the whole body breathing. And if we don't feel it as a physical sensation, do we just feel it as the energy on the inhale, receiving, the exhale, letting go? Can we rest the awareness in this body breathing? Knowing breathing in is like this, breathing out is like this. In is like this, out is like this. Noticing if there's relaxation or if there's some amount of tension. And not trying to control the breath, but just resting in the breath, just occurring as however it occurs. In breath is like this. Out breath is like this. We rest the awareness there. And if there is some tension in the breath, then find someplace else in the body where the mind can rest. The hands, the feet, maybe the heart. Any amount of ease, someplace in the body, let the attention rest there. Knowing it's like this right now. This body is present, resting on this support. This mind resting on the body, aware of how it is. And how is the mind? Sometimes refer to the heart mind. How is the heart mind? What's the emotional sense of the mind right now? Is it relaxed? Is it restless and agitated? Maybe it's zoned out in sleep. Maybe it's groggy. How is it right now? Whatever answer we have, can this be okay? You don't try to change it. Just present. This body is like this. The heart, the mind is like this. In this moment. Just watching the mind, observing how the mind and body are. If the mind gets lost in thought, we just notice that, notice what it's paying attention to and how that affects the mood of the mind, the heart, energy in the body. And come back to resting, mind resting in this body. It's like this. So this way we get to know, how is it right now? Am I okay? Is there some source of tension? And is there some source of ease right here, right now, in this moment? Any amount. You can be aware of both, tension, ease, whatever it is, it's like this right now, in this moment. If we don't hold on, it'll move. Now it's like this. Can we stay interested? Noticing how the mind is, how the body is, inviting ease. Practice in this way. So the bell invites us to let go of that practice and maybe just take a second. Just check in. What was your experience during that? How is the mind right now versus how it was when we first started? How the body is? Is there still residual agitation, or were you collapsed into sleep? Or is there just varied experience during all of that? And again, we don't judge any of it, we just notice what the energy, what the mood is in the mind and the body right here. You know, this is really the way that we gauge how we are, right? Right? How am I? That's sort of the, whether we're thinking about it or not, that's really sort of the question we're asking ourselves throughout the day. You know, and in our busy lives, a lot of the times, I can't think about how I am right now. I got to think about what I'm going to be next. There's a lot of that going on. And so we don't give ourselves a chance to really check in and see how it is. So we can keep filling things up during the day. To, maybe that sense of busyness allows us to feel important or feel needed or whatever, or feel distracted. So we don't have to think about how we really are. Or maybe our tendency is to zone out, to maybe we need a lot of sleep because there's a lot of tension in our lives and we want to, we don't have the energy to deal with it, whether it's physical tension or emotional tension. We can notice that. We check in, oh, I'm just really exhausted and I need to take a break. So this check-in process, we're kind of subconsciously doing it throughout the day as a way of noticing how we are. And in this mindfulness practice, in this body scan and the checking in process that I led in that guided meditation, it's something, if we train enough, we can really start to tune into this on a more regular basis and really notice how we're doing. And when we feel that busyness is making us feel really necessary or whatever, but if we tune in and we just go, man, I'm exhausted, I didn't even notice, so the checking in sometimes can tell us how we really are. Sometimes we have habit things that we do that we think is making our life better, but we're actually, it's really not making us feel that good. So this check-in process can let us be more aware of that. So the meditation practice that Nancy and I teach, some places when you go to learn meditation, they'll teach you to be on the beach in Mexico, right? So you can just escape from everything. And in these practices that Nancy and I are teaching, there is some calming effect, like this paying attention, being with the breath or the body, giving the mind something to pay attention to, or just not promoting the usual just mindlessness of distraction. There can be a calming effect because it just gives the mind something to come and rest on. So there is some calming, but the other part of what we're going to do is the transformational part of the project, which is the wisdom or the getting to know ourselves, like how is it, what when the mind is doing it leads to ease and what leads to calm in the mind and in the body. And I feel like I say the same thing every time we get together. And all these practices are just different ways of trying to come to more understanding of that. Maybe we don't really need just calm. Maybe what we need is understanding, like okayness. It doesn't need, maybe there is some agitation, but can we be okay in the middle of that slight agitation? If there's total chaos, maybe something needs to be done about it. But we can notice discomfort, we can notice uncomfortable physical pain, and be aware that is there, but also notice when the mind is adding more stress to an already stressful situation, and noticing that additional stress isn't needed, that if I can just be present with this. And so we're practicing and being calm and present with whatever comes up. So there's lots of different ways of doing this that we've talked about before and we'll continue to, but one of them is just kind of asking questions, how is it right now? What's going on? Inviting curiosity, which I talk about quite a bit, that brings the mind, it gets it engaged in trying to see what's really going on rather than the story that we usually make up about what's going on. And so in the meditation, we can intentionally ask questions to just notice what is it that the mind's paying attention to and what's the effect. So one question we would say, am I wanting something now? Just noticing the mood of the mind and the body, and kind of leaning in and wanting something. Or if we feel like we're pulling away or resisting, am I not wanting something? Or am I just checking out if we find ourselves zoning out either in sleep or in fantasy? Am I checking out, or is it just okay? Is there just contentment here? So by asking, specific questions, trying to really notice, am I always wanting something else? Am I always resisting or pushing stuff away? So, or is my tendency just to check out and distract myself with something else, with sleep, with stories, whatever. We can start to notice what those habits are and how that feels in the mind and the body. So we can practice with that in meditation. And again, we can then also do it in daily life, kind of checking in, just whatever you're doing, just stopping and go like, how is it right now? Am I really wanting something that I can't quite get? Is that stressful? Or am I checking out? What's happening? So we practice this to get to know ourselves better. And also by this noticing, it also naturally, the mind notices what leads to more ease, and it's naturally inclined to that. We don't have to make ourselves do that necessarily. So that's the theory with this practice. So we'll play a little bit with asking questions. And if that doesn't appeal to you when you hear my voice, you can just notice irritation being moved and go back to whatever you want to do for your meditation. Just noticing, am I wanting that voice to go away? I just want peace and quiet. So whatever, this is our chance to come inwards, however you want to practice. This is your time. I'll have a few little bits of guidance, but otherwise, this is your time to do your inner exploration, check out from the normal daily distractions, and you can practice together in relative quiet to explore this mind right here. So taking your meditation posture again, whatever that looks like for you, that you can be supported, upright, relaxed, letting go of all that theory, those words and blah, blah, blah. And now it's time to just check in. Let the bell transition. So again, the bell is the invitation to come inwards, closing the eyes if you're comfortable, or just having a soft gaze. Let go of the visual distraction. And coming in once again to just check, how is it right now? This mind, this heart. What's the overall sense? Is there ease? Is there some tension, some restlessness, anxiety, grogginess, clarity, whatever, curiosity? How's the heart mind right now? And the body? How's that? Is it relaxed or is there tension? I'm not judging any of this, just noticing. It's like this. And then we'll set the intention in this meditation period to just do occasional check-in. We'll take a meditation object, the breath or the body, or if you have a phrase that you use, whatever, some place where the mind can rest, where it can be relatively at ease and interested. But just setting the intention to check in occasionally, like, how is it right now? So using a question to check in to see how it is. It also can help break a story sometimes, the energy of a story if there's one going on. So with that intention, we'll let the mind rest in our meditation object, whatever, if you have one that you commonly work with, the body, the phrase, or in the breath, the sensation of breathing in, breathing out, or a sense of the body breathing, receiving energy on the inhalation, letting go on the exhalation. Setting your intention to stay with the meditation object, resting the mind there, staying interested moment to moment, setting that intention, and then watching what happens. And noticing if the mind wanders off in thought or planning or wondering whether you're doing this right. Just noticing the effect of that and then resetting the intention to be with the meditation object. Checking in, notice what the mind is doing. Is it still contented with the resting with the meditation object? Or does it have other ideas? Is it wanting, am I wanting something? Am I wanting to push something away, an idea, a sensation, memory? Or has it checked out in sleep or fantasy? And we don't judge any of this, we just notice what the mind is doing and notice the effect on the mind and the body. And then reset the intention to be with the meditation object. Noticing what the mind is paying attention to. And how does that feel in the heart and mind? Do we feel okay? Or is there wanting something, wanting to get rid of something? We don't judge any of this, we just notice the effect, the habit of the mind, and reset the intention to come back to the meditation object. Is the mind content with the meditation object? And how does it feel if it is? Or is it wanting something different, wanting to push something away? Am I okay? So asking these questions can create a pause, space, and invite some curiosity, keep the mind engaged. How is it right now? Am I okay? Can I be with this? Whatever it is. And then going back to the meditation object after we've noticed, moment to moment, being with the meditation object and noticing the effect. How is it right now? How's the heart, the mind? Is it contented, or is it wanting, am I wanting something else? Need to push something away? Can this be okay? Noticing just asking these questions, if that shifts something in the mind, allows us to break a story and then come back, resetting the intention to be with our meditation object. Some place to rest, mind, rest the attention, moment to moment. What is the mind paying attention to? Am I wanting something? Am I pushing something away? Have I disappeared? And how is the mood and the heart, the mind? Does it feel calm, stressed, or dead? Am I okay? Even if there's some pain, even if there's some agitation, am I still okay? Can this be okay? We can use questions to invite curiosity, to explore, to get to know how it really is right now. This mind, this body, this heart. We can notice the body still breathing. Maybe we can notice any sensation in the body, maybe in the fingers, toes, the heart beating, feeling the breath. It's like this right now. This mind resting in this body. Can this be okay? So the bell invites us to bring the awareness back to the surface. And anything you may have noticed during that sit about the habits of the mind, what led to ease, what led to stress. And then come back to being aware, being together. So yeah, that basic practice, I mean, those kinds of questions are getting to, just wondering, like, what are the habits of the mind? And we'll start to notice maybe patterns if we do this over a period of time, that some of us have personalities that always want the next thing, or we're aversive and we just don't like anything. We start noticing it's like, man, I don't like anything. I'm always complaining. The mind's always complaining. Or it always wants to check out, and then you don't feel like you're really even alive, right? You just numb out. So we can start to notice what these tendencies are and noticing what the effect is. And sometimes we don't like what we see, and sometimes it's actually funny to see it. So, doing this with curiosity and humor is really helpful, because otherwise either it could be boring or we could start going, man, I'm a mess. It's not that, it's just the habits of the mind. This is what the human mind does. And we're starting to understand that better, and not just do it in meditation, but we start to see these patterns in our everyday life. And hopefully by getting the habit of asking the question, like, can this be okay? This stress over sitting in line again, can this be okay? Impatience is like this, can it be okay? So we can play with these things, and practice in meditation, and then take into everyday life, and hopefully there was something beneficial for you here. So that's all I have to share today.